Founded in 2017 by music producers Adrian Young, Ali Shaheed Muhammad from A Tribe Called Quest, and concert producer Andrew Lujero, and industry veteran Adam Block, Jazz is Dead is a global movement experienced through community and culture, a record label, a concert curator, and preserver of music and stories that capture the imagination. Passion is driven by honoring the legacies of those musical heroes through live concerts, visual media, and new analog recordings. The label's latest release with legendary Afrobeat drummer Tony Allen has been getting tons of play on CKUA, and I have Adrian Young on the line now. Hi, Adrian. Thanks for joining me.
Hey,
Hey,
how are you?
I'm awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, doing great.
You are a busy man.
I am a busy man. You're right. You know what's funny is that I've always been that type of person that likes to stay busy, but the busier I get and the more I finish, the more I think I can do, and I just keep on going. And then I look back and I'm like, yo, I thought I was busy back then. So, like, it's kind of funny, but yes, I'm busy.
Yeah, where does that drive come from? Where
Um,
do you get that from?
Honestly, I've always been just a very disciplined person, and I always like to compete with myself. So it's just this
Mm-hmm.
thing where I just love to challenge myself because I find inspiration based on me meeting my goals. That's what it really is for me.
Yeah, beautiful. In kind of learning more about you in preparation for the interview, I was like, okay, he's a musician, multi-instrumentalist, composer, arranger, producer, lawyer. Like, you have done a lot and encompassed a lot. How do all of your, the facets of you contribute to your music making?
Well, it's interesting because I always tell people that I make music for this fake audience in my head, and
Mm,
the more that I do for them, the bigger the audience grows. And at this point, I'm always in tune with myself creatively. I'm not thinking about what other people want per se, and this allows me to always find, like, you know inner creativity and just kind of live on a creatively with like a divine infusion of thought. Every day you wake up with
mm,
something, some new idea or something. And I like to channel that to this audience in my head and then just kind of hope other people like it. So, uh, with all of the things I do, that's essentially my foundation, is just literally living in my own world, trying to be the best version of myself,
mm.
and hoping other people dig it. And if they don't, the main thing is that I'm happy.
Yeah.
So that's what it really is for me.
That's beautiful. Do you feel any like fear or, because that's a kind of a beautiful but vulnerable place to be. How do you stay present in that space?
Well, if if you really know me, you really really understand that, like, I don't care about what anybody thinks.
Mm,
I'm down to go on stage and just mess up in front of everybody and laugh, because it's just human. It's just being human. I don't
yeah.
care.
Hmm.
Like, my thing is, I really mean it when I say, as a creative, I strive to compete against myself, my former self, and always try to be the best version. So, like, this is also really strange with me because I tell people that new music to me are old records I haven't listened to before. I don't really listen to modern music.
Hmm.
I have a record store, so I'm just listening to mad vinyl all the time, and just
Yeah.
that's what really inspires me. So I say this all to say, because I'm already different in regards to what I listen to every day, people's opinions don't really mean much to me. What means much to me, to be honest with you, like, if someone comes up to me and say, yo, I'm a big fan for years since Black Dynamite or this and that,
Hmm.
like, it makes me smile. But something that makes me feel good is when somebody said, yo, I've been a big fan of you, and when I heard this album that you did or this song, it inspired me to do this. that
Mm,
that's what it is. Because
hmm.
I feel like I'm on a journey where, again, I'm in my own world, but no one understands your own world better than yourself. So when you let other
Hmm.
people into your world to try to change things, then things can kind of get out of whack. And I always want to encourage people to just be the best versions of themselves. So
Hmm.
I don't know if I really answered your question, but that's kind of
I love that. I love that. It's kind of you're creating beautiful threads. I think of like the root system. You know,
Yes,
your
exactly.
roots are weaving out and reaching
Exactly.
out to other people. Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's why I have no fear, because if somebody that doesn't listen to the kind of music that I listen to says they don't like my music, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, what are you into? I'm not gonna like what they're listening to. So it makes it
Yeah.
makes sense. It's okay, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a good opinion.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure. That's great. I love that. I love that. Yeah, it's there must be so much freedom, you know, uh, kind of living in a place like that and creating from a place like that. You know, I feel like that's the biggest challenge as an artist is um, creating without caring. You know, like there's intention, but there's no you don't care about what people.
But
Um,
if you really think about it, like, why do you care? Why would you ever care about what someone else thinks? To be honest
mm-hmm,
with you, like it's interesting because when people show me their music, they're like, "Hey, I would love to show you my music," and I listen to their music. In my head, I'm like, "Well, why do they care about what I think?" Well, they
mm,
like my music, so maybe they think I'm on a certain level. So if I'm on a certain level and tell them I like what they're doing, for them it can help to reinforce the way that they're
yeah,
thinking about themselves. But at the same time, people don't need me to validate them. Like,
yeah,
when because there's millions and millions of people in the world that will listen to whatever. Like,
mm-hmm,
there's all those people. Like, they just like, if you want to make an album that's just all static, the way you do it, they'll love it.
yes,
It's up
yeah,
to you to find your tribe. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So like,
mm-hmm,
so I, the fear thing, I really, 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 I'm very honest when I say this. I really create for the audience in my head, and I actually really, really mean it. And then, like I said, if I get a compliment from people, it feels good because I know they're really giving me a nice gesture. And then it's like, oh,
mm-hmm,
wow, they actually like my stuff. Yo, that's dope. Like, that means that we'll
yeah,
probably think alike. But people don't have to like my stuff because I don't like Britney Spears music. I don't like, what I'm saying? There's a whole
mm-hmm,
bunch of stuff, but
yeah,
way more people like that than my stuff. And I respect it.
mm-hmm,
What I'm saying? So
mm-hmm,
I just
mm-hmm,
don't, it doesn't bother me if someone likes my stuff or doesn't like my stuff or whatever. What really hits me is that when I inspired some kind of feeling in somebody. And
yeah.
that's like what I want to share with people as an artist.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, definitely that is happening. You know, you are full of ideas, a wellspring of ideas. You're a tastemaker. And I want to talk a little bit about the latest collab with Tony Allen, famous drummer. You know, one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you today was because your album is number one, is the
Oh,
number one album this week on our station's
oh,
top 30 list. Yeah,
you must have a lot of audience that like my kind of music then.
we do.
We think
We
so.
do. Yeah, there's a lot of like-minded people over here.
Like-minded people. Yes.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and a lot of great listeners with good taste, you know, and they let us know what they want to hear, and they want to hear this
mm,
Jazz is Dead release.
wow.
So, can you tell me a little bit about how this collaboration came into being?
Yeah, sure. So Andrew Lahero, which is my partner in Jazz is Dead, he had done concerts with Tony Allen over the years,
Hmm.
and he was going to do another one some years back. And I remember I was like, "Yo, man, is there any way you think he'd want to record?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think I could probably figure it out." And Tony was just always down to do things. He's always down to
Yeah.
expand, and you know, uh, he said yes, and he came into the studio. But for me, it's a big deal for me that everything that's recorded in my studio is on my drum set. I've been using
Mm-hmm.
this drum set on from my Ghostface albums to Black Dynamite to every single record I've done is on this drum set. So I know that Tony wanted a bigger drum set. I have a smaller kind of jazz kit. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember telling my manager, I'm like, yo, man, I'm not doing this album with the legend if he doesn't want to use my drum set. It's just what it is. I got to keep it consistent. I love it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You got
So
a sound
I can't do
aesthetic
it.
that you
Yeah,
gotta.
I can't do it. And he came in and he was like, yeah, I like this drum set. He started playing it. And then, I was just asking him to do different rhythms for me, make things up, give me something like a classic Afro beat with like something syncopated. And
Mm-hmm.
if you go on YouTube, you can actually see a video of me with him. Just if you type in like Tony Allen, Adrian Young, you'll see us in the studio doing this. And it's crazy because he's doing these dope rhythms, dope beats, and everything I do here is analog. As you know,
Mm-hmm.
you can see, but the listeners can. Like all my studio is just reel to reel machines and
Yeah.
equipment. Right? There's no computers in here. So we finished recording the drums on the first song, which is Ebon, and I played it back for him. He was just like, "Oh my God, I haven't heard my drums like that in so long." Like it was
Yeah.
one of those things because he was already kind of not sure if he could play on this drum set because that's not his style. And then he played it and then he heard it back. And it was just like a real moment for me because
Mm-hmm.
part of what I do, part of what we do with Jazz is Dead is give back to these legends that have given so much to the world. So to record his drums in the same kind of way that he did with Fela back in the day, and to see his response to it, it was just
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. The thing that is sad though is that he never got to hear all the music I did on top of it.
Yeah.
He died before that,
Yeah.
and like when to hear that we're number one on your station, to hear that people want to hear more of this Tony Allen album stuff, man, it just it makes me emotional because I feel like
Mm.
looking down on us, and we're making the brother proud, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, sure enough, definitely. Yeah, that's beautiful. Um, what lessons did you learn from recording with him and working with him?
Well, one thing I definitely learned from him is that the aim in life as a creative is to try to be timeless, not to
Mm,
chase anything. Do what you feel is good in perpetuity, right?
yes.
Try to be the illest version of yourself without trying to follow trends or be in vogue for the moment. And when you look at the trajectory of Tony Allen's career from High Life to Afrobeat and beyond, he always had a signature style that he incorporated in whatever kind of music he was doing, but it was always
Mm-hmm.
very uniquely him. You could hear his drums, that's him. And like it just reinforced the notion of just be yourself because
Yeah.
you are the dopest person. I mean, you are the dopest version of yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
you the illest version of Dawn. You know what I'm saying? I'm the best version
Thank
of
you.
Adrian. No one could be a better version than us, right? So like
Yes. Yeah.
believe in what you're doing and find your tribe within what you're doing, and just be true to the music because music keeps you young. Like he was here and I think I forget, it was during the pandemic, yeah, like when he passed, and I was just like super sad. But when he was here,
Mm,
I mean, this dude was gingerly, lively, ready to go, ready to go hop on a plane. Last time I actually saw him, I was in Brazil. We just happened to be in Brazil at the same time, and it was just good to see him. But like,
mm,
music keeps you young. That's what's really dope. Music really keeps you young, and he's another reason why I know I'm going to do music until the day I die because it keeps me
yeah.
happy. I know it kept him happy.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I would love to play a track from the album. Can you choose one and tell our listeners a little bit about it?
Sure. Let's do Ebon.
Ebun. Okay,
Yes.
cool. And what's tell me how did this tune kind of come into fruition?
Well, Ebon is like, so when you listen to this album, you're listening to it in the order that I actually record his drums. So you can listen
Okay.
to the evolution of it. The first song is pretty interesting because when you listen to it, knowing what I'm about to say, things compositionally make sense.
Mm,
So the first song is actually two drum beats I put together. So if you listen to it, there's a rhythm, a faster tempo and everything. And then what happens is that you hear a drum break and then I play the rhythm differently. I
mm,
liked the fact that these two drum beats sounded kind of the same, but gave me a little bit of something different for me to play with. Like I had more guitars, my horns changed, my organ changed, like everything changed on the second half of the song. But on the initial recordings, it was literally two drums for two different songs. But
mm,
again, you'll hear, like if you listen to it halfway through the song, you'll hear the tempo drop a little bit and the groove get a little more heavier. So
Yeah.
that's something I've never really done before, but I really love the outcome of it.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. Awesome. Adrian, thank you so much for your time, for your generosity, your beautiful, inspiring spirit.
Mhm.
It's a real blessing to chat with you today.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
thank you so much. And thanks to the listeners. And anytime I'm here for you guys. Much
Amazing. Amazing. Much love. From the album Adrian Young and Tony